And I, brethren, when I came to you, came not with excellency of speech or of wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of God. For I determined not to know anything among you, save Jesus Christ, and him crucified. And I was with you in weakness, and in fear, and in much trembling. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. Howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world, that come to naught. But we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom, which God ordained before the world unto our glory, which none of the princes of this world knew, for they known it. They would not have crucified the Lord of glory. But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them and that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit. For the Spirit searcheth all things, yea, the deep things of God. For what man knoweth the things of man, save the spirit of man which is in him? Even so the things of God knoweth no man, but the Spirit of God. Now we have received, not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit which is of God, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of God. Which things also we speak, not in the words of man's wisdom teacheth, but which the Holy Ghost teacheth, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. But he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself is judged of no man. For who hath known the mind of the Lord, that he may instruct them? But we have the mind of Christ. Welcome. It's Thursday, July 24th, 2014. This is your host, Mike Callahan, and welcome to the Watchman News. Got an interesting night for you here. Using a little bit different software. Hopefully, we have a little better results, huh? So we got an interesting topic for tonight. Very interesting topic. We'll get to that momentarily. As you know, we normally start our show out with the news in 2 minutes, and then play the audio of suspicious observers. So let me get that up here. and we shall do as such. Here would be news in 2 minutes. Enjoy.
Welcome everyone to another episode of News in 2 Minutes, bringing you the news that you need to know every day. Let's begin. Experts are warning that as fighting continues to intensify outside of mainstream media's coverage and amid repeated calls for a ceasefire between Israeli forces and the Islamic militants fighting for the Hamas organization, global discontent together with pro-Hamas sentiment may lead to the use of extreme force and unconventional tactics by the Israeli Defense Forces. We are continuing to witness a trend that we've both seen and mentioned in previous reports, with officials increasing the awareness and preparation for strict and possibly international water restrictions due to a noticeable loss in groundwater reservoirs, while researchers with the North Carolina State University, among other outlets, have created a proposition for public awareness of personal water restriction that is expected to gain widespread adoption throughout governments across the U.S. A leading member of the Geophysical Union has published a study in this month's issue of Geophysical Research Letters where he, if for opposing reasons, inadvertently backs up claims that scientists and researchers within the community have made for years, in that climate change, as it relates to severe weather systems and fluctuating periods of both extreme heat and in other places severe cooling, is a cyclical condition of nature that has been present prior to the industrialization of the world and mankind's supposed influence on the weather, and a cycle that continues to play a pivotal role in shaping the weather of Earth's future. While the lead researcher appears to pursue the goal that mankind has played a decisive role in climate change through greenhouse gas emission, his work, along with others in this that periods of warming and cooling are cyclical in nature and will continue with or without mankind's interference. The information, while removing a notable measure of the blame from the shoulders of humankind, goes on to show that Earth is expected to continue a drastic shift in weather through increasingly deadly storm systems, leading officials to call for preparations on both an individual and governmental level, where they stress the need for between 3 days and 2 weeks of with food and water reserves for all those in affected regions. Authorities are warning of an increase in upper respiratory and asthmatic distress as wildfires continue to move across Canada, Washington state, and throughout multiple European countries, leading officials to caution the use of particulate filtration in areas that experience heavy smoke and ash fallout from growing fires across the world. And to wrap things up, precious metals and oil futures are expected to continue an increase as unrest weighs heavily on the world, and rising trends in infectious disease across the earth is leading researchers to search for novel antivirals and unique treatment as officials expect an increase in communicable diseases within the near future. And that's it for this episode of News in 2 Minutes. Research links are available at Full Spectrum. Check back tomorrow for more news that the aware need the most. This week's news.
All right, news in 2 minutes. As always, the link to watch the video is down in the About tab. Definitely check out his video. Much better visual than just watching the earth turn and me sitting here watching it. All right, we'll get on to suspicious observers. What his report is for today. Again, his link is also down in the About tab. And let's see what he has to say for today.
Good morning, folks. Stay tuned through the end for a special message. We'll start by reviewing the earthquake watch, starting with 2 weeks ago before the enhanced watch began. The USGS average of 3 6-magnitude quakes per week held perfectly. Then, the watch began. We took 4 6-pointers in just 2 days, with one ranging at 7 magnitude and a downgrade. Luckily, that seems to be just about all the pressure release we needed, especially as the coronal hole that was to be most relevant right now went from major strength as a southern extension to a broken opening that danced between moderate and only low force. Personally, I'm glad it's over. Top news. So there's one scientist who seeks to question the Antarctic sea ice setting record high marks, growing faster than the Arctic is melting up north. It's a major AGW propagandist named Ian Eisenman. Unfortunately for him, he's getting smacked down by just about everyone else, including NASA, who helps derive the data, and who explained that the alleged error was corrected very early, and that the record high sea ice down south is corroborated by numerous agencies. We have a couple good article recommendations, including another example of the model ineptitudes that caused the IPCC projections to fail for 17 years. The models don't work well into the past. Also, we know that we have seen this pause in global warming And now we know it's completely due to natural forcing, not due to any mitigation efforts of humans. I wonder what that means when we aren't in the natural cooling periods, like for the previous decades. We also have a terrific article on electrical DNA, and also a good new graphic from the Near Earth Observatory on water deficit out west during this mega drought. Tropical storm situation has died down as we're now solely focused on the Eastern Pacific development. Perhaps Hawaii will get a watch soon. The main system down under heads over Tasmania now, and the Earth wind map clearly shows that low right there, matching Earth spot to the east. In Europe, the northern Atlantic low is much less of a factor again today, while the low to the east is now creating cloud cover and intermittent storms across a third of the continent. Two lows of note across the pond, one still yanking heat and moisture to the northwest and north-central states, and the other driving up the eastern seaboard. Luckily, that stronger one out east will mostly be effective offshore, while the primary warnings will go to the Dakotas, Montana, and south-central Canada. Let's go to the sunspots. The disk is getting some action again, at least umbrally, if that's a word. Anywho, right now every group is magnetically separated and lacks major flare potential, but I will note the positive spot leading up north there. That's a bit of a change, folks. Nevertheless, the solar flaring's big move barely crept up into sea range, still very quiet. Meanwhile, we appear to have the onset of another very weak coronal hole stream. No geomagnetic effects, but the sensitive meters are showing the pressure a tiny bit. Folks, happy birthday to suspiciousobservers.org. We are 1 year old today. Quickly running through, the Observatory Project page is open access along with the Storms page where we test the Uyen system in real time, and the Space Weather blog run by David Hyde, which is amazing. In terms of premium content on the website, we do an evening news update most of the time. Often it's from Billy's lab or just some minor notes, but usually there is something. The private forums are a no-trolls area where the observers converse, ask questions, and share links with each other. Platform sessions are audio video. We averaged over an hour per week this year and ended up with more than 60 hours of discussion. We also have the special series, Agenda 21 Counter-Strike, the geoengineering page, Humans and Electromagnetism, which I hope to update soon, the Electric Earth and Sun section, updated just yesterday, and of course, the Star Water, full series. For dozens of hours of content, we have been charging the small membership fee of either $20 for the year or $3 per month. However, each last week of July, there will be an incentive. We knocked 25% off the already lower year-long price for 7 days starting now, and you can get the full year and dozens of hours of content for only $15. You're also helping to support the Mobile Observatory Project when you do so. What a terrific first year. Helio viewers still on hiatus, so we'll run the current conditions and the best shots of our star here at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and that's the news. Be safe, everyone.
All right, thank you, suspicious observers. Yeah, I would highly recommend if you're into this kind of stuff, if you like this stuff, if you want to keep an eye on what's going on or any of the things. I mean, his website just has an amazing amount of resources and information. It's a really wonderful tool to have in the toolbox. So, suspicious observers. So, got an interesting topic for tonight. Wow, it is just amazingly interesting. I don't even know how to start it out because, well, it's something that a lot of people's just not going to grasp right away. It's something that a lot of people, the moment they hear it, they're going to be like, no way. And kind of to start it off with a little bit of humor, I guess. You know, when you have a woman that loves and supports what you do, when she'll get your tinfoil. So without any further ado, you might all want to join me here. You may don your tinfoil hat. That's if you don't knock it off trying to put your headphones back on. We'll get this right. We'll try to get this right anyway. See? The aliens don't like it either. Nobody likes the tinfoil hat, but it's necessary for tonight's show, because you're probably not going to believe what I have for you. So put on your tinfoil hat and join me for the ride. So over the recent, well, years actually, there has been an increasing amount of botched executions, okay? And it just happened again, as a matter of fact. I want to say the other night. I read the article and got so much going on mentally that let me get it brought up again. This had just happened within the last couple of days, I know for sure. Waiting for the website to load here. I'm going to bring the view up so you guys can see that as well. This happened Wednesday, so yesterday as a matter of fact. Let me go ahead and bring that view up for you so you can see it. It's from ABC News. There you go. So this inmate, right, he, well, let me stop their video. Don't want to get in trouble for that. Hang on. So anyway, this guy's execution was apparently botched. Let me read you the article here real quick. An inmate's execution with legal drugs in Arizona Wednesday took almost 2 hours as witnesses reported the man gasped and snorted, prompting his lawyers to request an emergency halt to the procedure. The execution of Joseph Wood commenced at 1:57 p.m. at the Arizona State Prison Complex, ASPC Florence, and he was pronounced dead at 3:49 p.m. Arizona Attorney General Tom Horn said in a statement. Wood's attorneys filed a motion for emergency stay of the execution after Wood was reported gasping and snorting for more than an hour. According to the court documents they filed, Justice Anthony Kennedy denied the appeal about a half an hour after Wood's death. Great timing. An AP reporter who witnessed the execution said Wood gasped more than 600 times before he died. The experiment using midazolam, I probably pronounced that wrong, combined with hydromorphone to carry out an execution failed today in Arizona. Governor Jan Brewer issued this statement. I am concerned by the length of time it took for the administered drug protocol to complete the lawful execution of the convicted double murderer Joseph Wood. While justice was carried out today, I directed the Department of Corrections to conduct a full review of the process. One thing is certain, however, inmate Wood died in a lawful manner, and by the eyewitnesses' medical accounts, he did not suffer. Yeah. This is in stark comparison to the gruesome, vicious suffering that he inflicted on his two victims and the lifetime of suffering he has caused their family. And I agree with this. I'm not standing up for this. I'm not standing up for this man. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have been killed, that he shouldn't have been executed. In fact, I have a quite a bit darker view on execution than what most people do. I think execution needs to be done quite differently. I think it. First off, I think, and this is just my opinion, take it or leave it. And, I do believe in an eye for an eye, and I think the families should be able to, if they choose so, to take care of business, so to speak. And I'll kind of leave it at that, because I mean that opens up a can of worms I just don't want to get into tonight. But let me see here. Okay. So, basically, this is just the most recent botched execution. There have been several in recent times. There was one, I can't remember off the top of my head where it was, to where that, I believe they did not wet the sponge, and I'm not talking about the movie The Green Mile or whatnot. They didn't wet the sponge when they put it on top of the man's head or whatever, and he had an extremely painful and gruesome execution. I don't know how long it took. There has been other instances. My head keeps wanting to tell me in Missouri there was a botched execution, like within the last couple of weeks or whatnot. And so, here we go. Here's where we get to the tinfoil hat stuff. I firmly believe, and I'm not alone in this belief, that there is a reason behind these botched executions. Now, if you followed it, a lot of people don't follow the news and pay attention to what's going on like I do and others. Guess we can go ahead and switch back to this view for now. There's a lot of people that don't follow this stuff like I do and like other people do. But if you do, you would recall that not very long ago, there's been a lot of hype over them not discussing what they are using and where they get it from and all that. You know, there have been, like, I don't know if it was federal, but there have been laws put in place to where they do not have to reveal what they are using in these, like, lethal injections. And I know for the lethal injections for sure. I don't know anything as far as what they have to say about like the gas chamber, or, you know, of course. I find that interesting because you're almost asking for something like this to happen. You're asking for it with just absolutely without a doubt. So here's the thing. Why? Why would they find it important to botch these executions? Okay, there's typically always a motive or an agenda, and you just have to find it. You have to figure it out, and sadly, we have to figure it out on our own because, of course, they're not going to tell us. That would mess up the whole agenda. Well, Georgia, and here's where you need to put your hat on. I've given you the hat warning several times now. Put it on. That's all I can tell you. Beforeitsnews.com, and I know a lot of you are going to have a lot to say about me even bringing up this website. I'm trying to bring it up so that you can see it too. That would be nice. There you go. Takes a lot of resources from a computer to run this software. I have an 8-core processor, and I built this machine myself, so I know it's capable. It just gets a little laggy at times. So let's read some of this, a little bit of this, shall we? They passed laws in Georgia to allow for the use of the guillotine of death on death row. But were you also aware a federal judge has now joined the ranks for those pushing the use of guillotines nationwide? Now do you see why they botch executions? They need to make the people demand a better way to kill. Prophecy will be fulfilled. Just as predicted in the end times, death by beheading. This seems to be the way in which they are bringing this primitive form of punishment back to the present. Of course, we can't dismiss that this is a form of punishment has been taking place by sword in other parts of the world, such as the Middle East, for quite some time now. But the fact that this is now being pushed in a place where such punishment has been unheard of is big news. Revelation 20, verse 4, and I saw thrones, and they sat on them, and judgment was committed to them. Then I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded for their witnesses to Jesus and to the Word of God, who had not worshipped the beast or his image, and had not received his mark on their foreheads or on their heads, and they lived and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. We are very close. All of the cards are being put into place right now for the final events that are before us. The events spoken of in the book of Daniel and the book of Revelation. I will wholeheartedly back up that last statement. Especially all of the cards are being put into place right now for the final events that are before us. look, it's not just about this. I understand this is a little bit of a touchy, maybe scary kind of, you know, subject. This is something that a lot of people may not totally think is for real. Okay, the guillotines. But there's so many things that have been uh, that have been coming to light, and people's been coming out about it a little bit more. And I just ask that people use a little bit of common sense with this and understand.
Hey, everyone.
Sorry. I just ask that people use a little bit of common sense with this and understand that they have been putting in things into place for a while now, whether it be making it unlawful for you to collect rainwater. Gardens are being outlawed in many cities. There's just so many things, and I assure you, if you will just break down and read Agenda 21, just go into Google or whatever search engine you please, and type in Agenda 21 PDF, and you'll see it. It's the one you want to read is starts out the web address starts out. Well, here, let me show you real quick. Won't take but a second here. So you just go to Google and you type in Agenda 21 PDF, right? And I've showed you this before. And you go to the very first one. It's sustainabledevelopment.un.org/content, blah, 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 blah. And you click on that. And it's 351 pages. It is long. It is big. But I'm telling you, there are so many things in there that you're going to find, you're going to see, you're going to be like, oh, wow, wait a minute here. Things, I mean, if you'll understand it, you'll see the parts that relate to GMOs. You'll see the parts that relates to why apartment complexes and management companies of apartment complexes are doing some of the things that they are doing. I have a friend of mine from my hometown that she's losing her home. She's got a choice. She can either sign this new lease, and it invokes all kinds of crazy rules. She's got to get rid of her lawn furniture. She's got to get rid of her, I take it she's got a swimming pool and whatnot. But she's got to get rid of all this stuff, and she can't have any guests over past 10 p.m. at night. No smoking on the premises at all. And not just inside the home, but not anywhere on the property, period. Just all kinds of these crazy rules. Plus, of course, her rent's going up. And then I believe she wrote that every following year, her rent's going to go up another $50 a month. And this is, if you read this Agenda 21, you will see these things in here. You will absolutely see these things in here. They are the ones that are guiding things that are going on. I'm going to highlight something here that I talk about. Programs supported by the IMF and the World Bank. You see that? I just highlighted that. It's absurdity, right? And I just happened to catch that. I seen the capital letters IMF there. And we've talked about the IMF. We've talked about the World Banks and the World Banking System. I'm telling you, this is the most important thing you could read, aside from the Bible, in your entire life. Okay, here's their ways on combating poverty. I mean, you just scroll through here and it's crazy. And I don't know, I would have to search the document to see if they have anything particularly that says the word guillotine, but I do know they do talk about different ways to punish, and it's absolutely absurd. It's crazy. I can do a search real quick. Let me do a search. I think it's GUI. It starts out with. Wow. Oops. Typing one-handed with my left hand here. So. Okay, so I typed in guillotine in the search, and it's not bringing up anything in search results. So, but But I mean, I do know I've read uh, different things on punishment and stuff like that. Uh, I just brought up execution. Yeah, it just talks about programs and stuff. But you'll notice a lot of different things that happen or that are happening. Again, like with GMOs, with different laws that are being put into place and stuff like that. You'll see that Agenda 21 is obviously the framework for what for what's being done here. It's clearly the framework for what's being done. So I can't, I just can't impose it enough. You need to really look up this Agenda 21. It's really important. There's so much that it has in it, that it explains, that it talks about, and you'll have a much better understanding as to what's coming. And as I've said it before, there is no stopping this. The only thing we can do is band together and try to survive it and understand. That's so important, to understand what is coming. I had a conversation with somebody I went to high school with today on the Evil book, and he's awake to a little bit of it. I see him make posts here and there, and he might speak about GMOs or something like that. But then when you really get talking about the subject, he doesn't want to hear it. He's got his head stuck in that sand, and he don't want to pull it out. Today's conversation was talking about IDs. I'm not going to out anybody, but he went to the gas station, I believe it was, to buy a pack of cigarettes, and they asked him for his ID, and as he handed his ID to him, he told them that it's okay for them to visually look at it, but do not scan the ID. Well, I'll be quite honest here. I haven't updated my ID for quite some time, and I don't drink to speak of any amount to, and I don't smoke anymore. I use an electronic cigarette, so you don't see me at the gas station buying a pack of smokes or a 6-pack of beer. And so I was unaware that they were even doing this. And this is the beginning of the implementation. And I tried to explain to him that this is part of the National ID Act, and this is, and the UN is who has inspired this national ID, along with the same ones inspiring the gun control and all these crazy rules that are coming to effect when it comes to apartment complexes and stuff. Right now they're really focusing on the government housing, the government assisted housing and stuff like that, because it's much easier for them to control that. What are the people going to do? Those that can only afford that rent payment a month, what are they going to do? They're going to bow down. See, when you could, and I've said this before, and I can't remember who the person was that said this, but when you control housing, when you control medicine, when you control food, you control the people. When you control those things, you control the people. And that is what they are doing. They are bringing us to our knees. This is no by chance thing that our economy is failing. This is not something that just happened. Oops, it's not. This has all been finely planned. This has been articulated. This has been gone over, and it's been executed over many, many years. I can personally attest to 30 years that I've seen this taking place, and it's like the boiling a frog in hot water thing. You just slowly make these changes, and people accept it. And it's gotten to a point now. It's gotten so bad that they're about ready to start just clunking in the changes, and too bad, deal with it or else. And if you pay attention to the other laws being put in effect about what they can do, basically taking our rights away. I mean, all they got to do is declare that somebody, a VIP, is in the area, and you can't protest, or else. And I forget what the consequences are, but I do know you go to jail. I do know it's a felony crime. So basically, we have no rights as far as the First Amendment is concerned. You've seen the attack on quote-unquote Christianity. those that follow Christ. I define that heavily because I follow Christ. I'm a servant of God, but I do not take on the Christian label. I don't. There's reasons. It's nothing to really get into a conversation about at this point. But anyway, so I wanted to kind of throw Agenda 21 back at you again because that is paramount to understanding what is going on. It really is. So let's, without any further ado, let's go back to that page there. What I am going to do is there is a video that was on that page, and I am going to play it. And he's going to repeat some of the same stuff and whatnot, but it's a short video, so yeah, enjoy.
Methods from bad science to outright.
Let me rewind that.
Hey,
Sorry about that.
As we can all see, the death penalty is a hot ticket item in the news once again. Only this time, they are using all sorts of methods. The U.S. government should be killing people on death row now. And this is why, by the way, a certain video was leaked years ago of a man being electrocuted in Georgia, where they purposely kept the sponge on his head dry, so as to cause him to writhe in pain for a few minutes, as well as ignite in flame. That video allowed for legislation that eventually brought about the legal option for the guillotine for all death row inmates in Georgia. I go into much more detail on my Guillotines in America page on the website. If you just go to the warning section of remedyguide.org, you scroll down to where it says government gone bad, and just go there, Guillotines in America. That's all you need. So, seeing how successful their efforts were in Georgia to bring about the option for prisoners on death row to choose guillotines as a way to die, as expected, they are now spewing all sorts of new lies in bad science once again, but this time they're going nationwide with it. In fact, just yesterday, the well-controlled media posted the following article in the Washington Post. And let me see, where is it at here? Okay, here it is. The headline reads, "Guillotine firing squads better than lethal injection," says prominent federal judge. Now listen to what it says here in the article. It says, "Executions are brutal, savage events, and if society wants to carry them out, it ought to stop pretending otherwise. Forget about lethal injections and return to more primitive and foolproof methods, like the guillotine, or on second thought, the firing squad." Okay. Oh, and by the way, we also see this article and video on NBC News website as well. And that's, if you want this one, I'll put the link in the comment section below. But this one actually has a video on this site too, as well, in regards to lethal injection and how they're pushing talking points regarding how painful it is and whatever. And yes, on this page too, they even mentioned the botched execution of Clayton Lockett in Oklahoma back in April of this year, as well as others as talking points that affirm the federal judge's opinion that guillotines should be considered. And yes, I know he also mentions firing squads, but it's obvious. He's only saying that to take the onus off the obvious prophetic implications of the guillotine. Everyone knows a firing squad can cause much pain if their aim isn't dead on. And so his original comments actually nullify the use of a firing squad, but he said it anyway so as to not be so obvious when it comes to Rome's demand for the guillotine. So the cleaner and more effective use of the guillotine will no doubt be considered and then legalized across the nation. How do I know this is fact? It says in Revelation 20, verse 4, that John saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them, and I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus, and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon his forehead or in their hands. And the mark of the beast is something that happens at the end. So no one can claim that this prophecy is for the past. So prophecy is going to be fulfilled. That's the only reason we see them talking about using guillotines in America. I mean, after all, as I show on my Guillotines in America page, we already know they have 30,000 guillotines in the USA right now. That being said, are you ready to die for your faith? Are you sure? I hope and pray you were blessed. Please share this video with as many as possible. Please subscribe. Thank you for watching. God bless.
So yeah, And you can disagree or you can agree with what he had to say, or really doesn't matter. I mean, he read you he read you the article right out of the paper, and they're not kidding around about this stuff. This is a very, very serious thing, and a lot of people, this is one of those things people just like to keep their head in the sand on, and that's a very, very dangerous precedent to do right now. Uh, if you really have nothing better to do than throw your throw yourself at the government just because you don't want to face anything that might be unpleasant, I really don't know what to tell you. I really, really don't. So let me go on to another video here real quick. This is on LiveLeak, liveleak.com. You can probably search for it. You'll see the headline up top. But let me play this video. It's a little bit more lengthy, and then I have a friend of mine from high school shared a link with me that I think is of utmost importance, and I think that you should all know about it. I think you should all have the link, and I think you should check it out. I haven't had a chance to read the entire PDF myself or anything, or even really skim over it, but I will say that it's very interesting, and if this guillotine thing or anything that's going on in the government concerns you, this is well, I'll get to it when I get to it. Let's go to this video for now.
Hello friends, this is David Vos, and it is July 22nd, 2013. This is Monday. I want to show you something that I found. This is what appears to be a prison. It's not acknowledged by Arizona. If you go and look up all the prisons in Arizona, they don't tell you about this. It's got a road that goes all the way around, sort of in a rectangular shape. It's a huge facility. It goes in a square. It's like this. This is the road that goes around it. Now, if you go in on a close-up, you'll see that around that road is a fence. And inside that fence, there's several different areas. This is the first area. And in this first area, you'll see there's another road that goes all the way around, and then inside that there's another fence. Okay, and this fence is designed to keep people in. This is definitely a prison. This is the barbed wire, heavy duty, bent towards the inside so that people cannot climb out. This is maximum security, friend. This is very high-tech prison. But it's not on any map that you can go and find in the state of Arizona, and yet it's there. All the way along here, you've got light posts and guard towers and things, very high-tech. This is in the southwestern part of Arizona, not on any map. These are buildings that go around this, and then there's a larger building here. And in the middle, in this area, is a field where the inmates can get out. Now this is very high-tech. You see these air conditioning units, the light posts, the guard stations all the way around. I want you to get a really good look at this.
Excuse me.
Here's another area. You'll see right there where I'm pointing. That is a cage. Of course, you know, this is a facility where they're locked up and then they're allowed to come out into the cage. This is very high maximum security area. There's little areas there caged in, little fences around where you can walk out. This is a little bit nicer area of the prison. This is a tennis court, baseball diamonds, and still the guard facilities around, the lights, the light posts, and buildings and parking lots. You'll see the white FEMA trucks all over here where they can go in. Now, looks like they have right off the side there where the prison is. But this is what's really startling. You see the buses there where they can bring these inmates in and out. But there's also a lot of white FEMA vehicles in this facility. This is a FEMA camp, friends. That's why it's not listed as any of the prisons. Get a close-up, you'll see that there's these white FEMA vehicles that are driving around. They're all in a row here, white FEMA vans. Definitely a FEMA camp, not a prison. Basically a concentration camp. But the worst of it's yet to come, friends. I really need to show you this. This is going to be frightening to many of you. Yeah, there's a lot of this to this facility. I don't know what all this is, but that's a kind of a far-away view you're looking down on. But now over across the road here, in this area, in this field, it's associated with this camp. There's this area here. These are squares, 8 deep, 8 wide. These are pits, friends, 6 feet deep. There's fences around these pits. They're made to be. They're going to put people there. That's why there's these prison fences around these pits. This here's a large, deep crevice here, which has been filled in with water because it was raining. Now let's zoom in on this little square here, and you'll see this pit. And you see this got a fence all the way around it. Who are they going to be putting into these pits, friends? Imagine you've got a pit with a fence that bends inward so that you can't get out. That's not the way that we treat or put prisoners in this country. This is frightening. Over here in the right-hand corner, you'll notice 3 objects. This here is a light post with a shadow going along the ground. This lights this area. It doesn't light the whole pit. Just this corner. This is the guillotine. You heard me. This is a guillotine, friends. This is the platform where you lay down. And again, that's the lamp. That's a lamp post, and it's not very. So you see that guillotine. It's almost as tall as that lamp. It's not a very tall lamp post. It just lights the corner where they can see. And over in, well, there's where you would lay. And it's like a box. Okay. And this area here is a pit, a deeper pit where the blood goes when your head falls off. I know, it's amazing. This is where you'd lay and your head goes right here. And this area right here is where your head goes. So it's pretty disturbing. This is the guillotine. It comes down and chops your head off. So, friends, having shown you that very disturbing foot, like read yourself. And this comes from the Bible in chapter 20 of Revelation. And I'm sure that everybody's probably read this before. Years ago when I read this, I thought it was kind of symbolic because I didn't think that something like this that was written here in the Bible would actually happen. I couldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have imagined it. It's amazing. But then again, we wouldn't have imagined what Hitler did to the Jews in 1945 either. But in Revelation chapter 20 and verse 4, it says, I saw thrones, and those which sat upon those thrones had been given authority to judge. And I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded because of their testimony or witness for Jesus, because of the word of God. The word beheaded in Greek means to be executed with a guillotine, have your head chopped off. And again, friends, this chapter of the Bible is being set up right now to be fulfilled, right here in America. Going on with that verse, it says they had not worshipped the beast or his image, and had not received the mark upon their foreheads or upon their hands. These are those who come off victorious from the beast, the image of the mark of the beast. These are the ones that are beheaded for their testimony. Friends, they're planning on doing this to us here in America. This is a FEMA camp. It's not on the books. You can't find it by going into the Arizona Department of Prisons website and finding where all the prisons are. It's not there. You won't find it. But it's there. If you go to Arizona, or if you get on Google and look, you'll see it. It's in the border of Mexico and Arizona on the southern border. Friends, that's all I have to tell you today. Do the research, and let's have a discussion about this, and let's see if we can do something about this, friends. Well, this is David Vose saying, have a great day.
That was David Vose on the Live Leak website. You can search the headline you've seen there. You can find that for yourself if you choose. What can you say? I don't agree with necessarily. Oops, sorry about that. I don't agree with necessarily everything that was said on there. You know, like I'll tell you with a lot of things, you have to take it with a grain of salt. But you really have to pay attention to the chess game that's being played and the different laws that are being put into place and whatnot. It really should spark an interest. It really should. Let me show you this this website, and then we'll be done. This website was shown to me by a friend. If you look down in the About tab, you will see the link to this website, and there is a PDF on here, and you can look, and it will tell you what the government's rule book is for labeling you a terrorist, and it's pretty crazy. It really is. There's a PDF document right there. So, and I'm sure it will allow you to download it at some point, somewhere. I'm sure you can download it. So anyway, it's basically a PDF that is going to set the guidelines, the rules and guidelines for who they can declare a terrorist. And you better believe that those are the people that will be lined up. And you can think this is all crazy, and I know I made a joke of it with a tinfoil hat and whatnot, but it's really not a joke. It's really not. So it needs to be a wake-up call to people. It really does. It needs to be a wake-up call. Because, like I say, we can't stop it, but maybe we can do something to at least slow it down, or messing up long enough. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. At the end of that, if you scroll all the way to the, oh, well, that wasn't quite the end, but if you scroll down the page to the end of the article, you'll find the link to the actual PDF that you can download. So, and I would definitely I would definitely download a copy of that for you. I've showed you how to do that before. I'm letting it load up, and I'll show you again for a quick reminder on how to download a PDF this way. I could have right-clicked on it and downloaded it. I could have saved as, but you can also do it this way. Yeah, so you can just right-click and click Save Link As, and it will pop up eventually. And I don't know if you can see that on the screen or not. No, you can't. Sorry. I doubt you'll be able to see the other one either. We'll see. We'll find out in a second here. It's about loaded up. So, but you can't even see that. Okay, well you can right click, and then you don't see it here, but you click Save As, and it'll pop up a box for you, and you can just save it, name it whatever you want, save it wherever you want. I'm saving me a copy right to the desktop right now. I haven't had a chance to go through that. I'm going to have my reading cut out for me tonight because that's exactly what I'm going to be doing this evening. So, you know, folks, I don't know what to tell you. I know it was a crazy topic. I know I did the tinfoil hat thing with a little bit of humor. It was a very, very dark subject. It's something that not a lot of people are going to believe even is a reality. I don't know what to tell you. Start out with reading Agenda 21. Educate yourselves. Inform yourself. And if you question anything, take it to God and ask God. Just simply take it to God. Go take that half an hour, whatever, you know. I would say whatever you can spare, but you need to set time out to do this. Take that time out. Go to a room totally by yourself. Shut off all distractions. Get rid of all distractions. And have that discussion with God. And if you don't get that chance to connect, then keep doing it until you do. Do it over and over and over. Keep knocking on that door until you do get to have that. Because if you don't believe what's going on, how are you going to prepare for it? So go to God with it. If you know, I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm asking you to research things for yourself, to read the PDFs yourself. I'm asking you to prove it to yourself. In fact, disprove me. Disprove the things I'm saying. That would be a good task for you to do. You know, I've got the Skype and I've got Uber open. I always give you the my ID. I know we don't have a whole lot of live viewers at the moment, but there are more and more people that are watching the recorded videos. So hopefully we'll pick up some live viewers, and hopefully we'll start getting some calls. And I would love somebody to challenge some of this research. I really would, because if they're challenging it, that means they're doubting it, and that means that I have a possibility of waking somebody else up, and that is what's important here. So anyway, that's what I got for you tonight. May God bless and may God walk with all of you. As always, be one with your spirit. You should know by now I love you all, and I hope you have a good night. And on that note, I will see you tomorrow evening.